Yeah, this series has come down to a game seven. Thunder Nuggets. I guess from the beginning it was kind of just set up to be a 7 game series. I mean, you got the two MVP favorites. Both of them are just having historical, legendary seasons, and it was bound to go 7 games. So I'm gonna start off with the Nuggets side. I think Jokic finally figured out how to play against the Thunder. He had his first normalish assist game tonight. He had like 8 assists, and he looked comfortable out there finally. Like in the first half, I believe he had like 18 on 7 of 10 shooting, and he doesn't really look bothered out there anymore. Partly due to because people were hitting their shots. Julian Strawther had a huge game off the bench, but just looking at the game overall in Game 6, Jokic doesn't look uncomfortable anymore. He didn't really get too scared and picked up the ball. I remember one move, he kind of faked Chet out and just, went to the left and just hit it with the hook shot. And, he would always kick out to the right guy. And, people were just making their shots today, partly because of that. So, I think in Game 7 we're going to see Jokic have a pretty huge game. I'm expecting a triple-double, to be honest. I think he's actually just figured out how the Thunder guard him. Jamal Murray, he balled out. He's dealing with the sickness. Hopefully, he gets healthy for Game 7 or whatnot. But, he was just balling out there for a guy that's sick. Everyone else was solid too. I mean, Aaron Gordon's has been solid the whole series. Michael Porter Jr., his shoulder's really bothering him, but, he hit shots today. Game 7, Russell Westbrook. Diamond in the rough, What can you get from Russell Westbrook? For the past few games, he's been pretty bad because the threes haven't been going in. Shots in general hasn't been going in, but, something's telling me that he's just cut out for a pretty good Game 7. Now on the Thunder's end. Shai played pretty well. He just dealt with foul trouble. I don't think he's going to have another 4 foul first half in Game 7. Let's talk about Jalen Williams. The lights are just too bright for this dude. 3 of 16 tonight. He looks very good when the shots are going in, but it's just very, very, very bad to watch when the shots are not going in for this guy. And give credit to him, he had 10 assists, so he was impacting the game in different ways, but, Shai's going to need another secondary option in order to pull out a dub in this series. And, Jalen Williams is going to have to show up if they want to win this series. Jokic has got a lot of foul guys in trouble tonight. I think Hartenstein had 4. The other Jalen Williams had 4. People were saying he was the Jokic stopper, holding him to 28% from the field or something when he was guarding him. Shai obviously had 4. And, the Thunder Jays had a lot of foul trouble tonight. Could that be due to, tired legs? Maybe. I don't know. I think they just weren't disciplined on defense tonight. And I don't think I would see them, just racking up that many fouls in a Game 7, to be honest, at home. But besides all that, what adjustments do I see for a Game 7? First of all, I think you're just going to have to keep on going with what you've been doing with Jokic, but I think Jokic has finally just figured it out, and I don't see him having a bad Game 7. For the Nuggets side, Shai, they've done a pretty decent job on Shai. Every defender I've seen they thrown his way, they've done a really pretty solid job. I'd say Russell Westbrook's probably done the best job defending Shai. He hasn't really racked up that many fouls. He plays him pretty physical, so I guess just keeping a dude that could just move his feet on the perimeter and, get a highlight play here or there on Shai should be pretty decent. Could we see Denver change up that 1-3-1 zone defense that they've been playing? Possibly. I mean, OKC wasn't hitting their threes tonight, and, that 1-3-1, there's always going to be a man open because, there's one at the top, 3 that could just see parallel from each side of the court, and then the one that's dropped in the post, which is usually Jokic. And the Thunder, they just move the ball around. Eventually, they're going to find a guy that's just too wide open for someone to cover out to. So I definitely might see Denver maybe just go straight up man defense, simply because OKC won't have that bad of a shooting game ever again in a Game 7. I don't know. We legitimately don't know what will happen in Game 7, but I just don't see OKC shooting that bad from 3 again. Now, who do I have winning a Game 7 against Denver and OKC? You know, I love Russell Westbrook. I'm always going to root for the dude. So I'll say right now, I think the Nuggets will take this one simply because they have experience. I think they don't want to go out like they did against Minnesota last year. Same situation, Game 7. You know, I definitely think they have what it takes to pull out a win in Game 7. The Thunder, you know, they're pretty young. You know, they balled out this entire series. Credit, props to them. But I think Denver just has the experience aspect over them. I think they'll make more timely shots. I think when it comes down to clutch time, they're going to rely way too much on Shai. I don't think Shai has enough in the tank to bail them out. You know, Jalen Williams, unless he just has a great Game 7, you know, I really don't see a path for this Thunder team to win. But that's my thoughts on the series. Great series. Probably the best one in the playoffs. I said that about Clippers Nuggets, but, you know, it's arguable. But let me know what y'all think in the comments about the series, about some adjustments you might make, you know, some stuff you might see. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.